Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Movie Night here on Random Trek. I am your very horse because I watched our movie and did all of the shout outs and all of the dances, and as punishment, I lost my voice. I am your time warping captain, Christopher Ingle, joined as always by my first officer, Commander Brennan. I made him in a science experiment, the Mystic Mar. Brennan, how are we doing?
Yep, Janet.
Today, in honor of, we are recording November 1st. We were a little behind. We were supposed to record last week, but your captain got very, very, very sick, as you can hear. But time waits for no man, and so we're going to move forward. But we are doing the pulp. I don't even think it's pulp anymore. Like, it is just an outright classic, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which I thought was a bold choice, but Brennan had never watched it.
Never.
I have watched it. I have done the
In the
stage play.
Velvet Darkness of the Blackest Night, I watched it.
Ooh. So I have watched it. In fact, I watched this with my wife, who was going to join us, but unfortunately had to step away for mommy
He's stuck in the
responsibilities.
transporter.
She's, yeah. The transporter that's called a Kia Soul. Anyway,
Hmm.
uh, but I have also performed this on stage.
Oh boy.
So I have opinions, but we also have someone who is an outright absolute fan. We have had her on the show before. We had her, I believe, when was the last time, Kayleigh, we had you? Was it Back to the
I
Future?
was I was Back to the Future, and then
Back to
also
the Future.
Stargate with you guys last
That's
year.
right.
Hmm.
We've had her on twice this year.
This is my
It's our
three-peat.
it's our good friend from the South. It's Kayleigh. Hi, Kayleigh.
Hello,
Kayleigh, I'm gonna start with you before I hand it over to Brennan. Let's get it out of the way. Why do you love Rocky Horror? And why
because
is it wrong? No, I'm just kidding.
I understand why people don't like this movie. Trust me, I totally get it. And we'll get into all of the craziness because I'm not a big fan of all the fandom as far as like the callbacks and all that stuff and like the live performances. I'm not a fan of that. I'm more of like I love my musicals. I like to sit at home and watch them by myself and sing along. But I just grew up with this movie, so I have a nostalgic factor. And then also, it's a movie about weird misfit outcast people, and that's my kind of movie.
It definitely is for outcasts and misfits. I will not deny that. It is up there with like Priscilla, Queen of the Damned.
Hmm.
Like there is just a certain
You mean
audience.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert?
No, Queen of the Damned. That's another story.
No.
Okay,
Hmm.
because I love
Sorry.
Priscilla, Queen of the
And
Desert.
that tells you that's
That
another
would
film.
be
I
that
am
would
not.
be Aaliyah. Hmm.
I merged two films there together in my head. That's what I just did.
I mean, I would be
Oh
down for a
boy.
mashup of Queen of the Damned and Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. That sounds like a fun time to me.
Actually,
Yeah.
long story short, my wife and I just started watching the Interview with the Vampire and
Hmm.
Rice's the TV series from
I just
AMC.
started it too.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, but my wife and I actually were
Yeah.
just talking about Queen of the Damned, and I
Well,
don't like the movie. That'll be another future.
I
But
watched the movie of Interview with the Vampire on Thursday, and then I started the series.
the movie is so good, but the series is just shocking me in good ways. Like I
Yeah.
didn't expect it. But
Yeah.
anyway, this
Oh
is
Different.
yeah.
not about
Sorry.
Interview with the Vampire. Brennan,
Maybe we
before
should
we
include that in the future.
maybe before we go into it, Brennan, give me your initial takes as a virgin going into this show.
I beg your pardon.
The, Kayleigh, educate the man.
Yeah.
Well, it's more of a thing as far as like if you go and see it at one of the like live
Yeah.
performances, they will put a V on your face with lipstick to denote your virginness as far as you never virgin
Yeah.
like if you've never seen the movie before.
I mean, it was a weird experience. I'll say that.
Did you watch it alone or did you watch it with your parents? That's the question
I
I
watched
ask.
it alone. There's no way my parents are gonna watch this. Even though my dad saw it in theaters twice when he was a kid.
Wow. Yep.
But yeah, no, there's no way I'm sitting and watching this with my parents.
Yeah. But what were your that kind of overall
Well,
feel as you're watching it?
the music is great. I mean, the
Mhm.
music is just so much fun. And Tim Curry is basically playing Tim Curry. Yeah. And
This is the film. This is the project that gave Tim Curry his Tim Curryness.
Tim Curry as Tim Curry as Frankenfurter.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so on that level, it was a lot of fun. I mean, is it a great movie? Not really, but it's entertaining, and that's the job that's going for.
It is. It is definitely a crowd pleaser. Um, I hate watching this. I do. I think it's an absolutely terrible movie. But I'm with you about the music.
Yes.
Something about that music really works. The same way that like our good friend Video Drew, I watched she had me watch Phantom of
Oh, Phantom of Paradise.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
She had me watch that, and it's another one of them that's a lot like Rocky Horror. That is just that weird, strange, and odd, and yet the music that's actually in it kind of gets to you, and it's really good. Um, I this gives me anxieties. So I was introduced to Rocky Horror all the way back in 2004. I think it was 2004. At my college, they were doing it on stage. And first of all, I am scared of dancing. I love dancing. I'm scared of it. And the first time I had to do the time warp on the stage, I freaked out. In fact, I hid under the stage and started rocking back and forth because it gave me such big anxiety. It was huge. I ended up as Dr. Scott's understudy, which was a good role for me.
Yes,
Um,
I'd say
a-
so.
but then also kind of as a background and one of the party goers, and that was a little better for me. It wasn't as bad. Um, but yeah, I mean, when we did this show live and we did the midnight audience, it's such a different experience to see how people take this and how this, and we'll talk about it, this show, this play, it was a play before it was a movie. We'll go into the history of that. But long story short, it really is a place for misfits. It is a place for being yourself and coming out. This this really brought up trans ideas and LGBTQ things way before it was ever talked about. You
Mhm.
didn't talk about those things when this movie came out, and this movie dared to try. And yet, as this is a sci-fi podcast, there are so many great references to classic schlocky B movie
Oh,
stuff.
very much so, yes.
And I love that. That aspect of it, I absolutely adore. So I hate this movie. I think it's a terrible movie. And yet there are those little elements that are all throughout it that I'm like, wow, I like that. I like that. But I'll say it is the opposite of it being greater than the sum of its parts because I hate the whole thing. Like a lot of the little things. But as is tradition here, I turn the con over to Commander Brennan.
Thank you, Captain Sir. Yes, this was a stage musical in 1973, written by Richard O'Brien, who plays Riff Raff in the film. The great Richard O'Brien, I should say. Um, and then it was turned into a film in 1975, so it's 50 years old this year. And certainly it has become a cultural icon. The image of Tim Curry throwing off that robe, revealing when wearing the, I don't even know what you'd call it, but the fishnet stockings and all that.
The corset and the fishnet.
It's an iconic image out of
Yep.
film. And obviously the song like The Time Warp has become a classic in and of itself, which is a lot of fun. Um, so, now, let's begin with the plot. Now, Kayleigh, I'll ask you, does the plot in a movie like this really matter?
I would say no, because even though I've seen this movie many times, and I think the first time I saw it, I was probably about 10 years old because my dad was a really big Meatloaf fan and he showed it to me on TV. And I mean, as a kid, I didn't understand the plot. As an adult, it doesn't really have much of a plot, in my opinion. At least not one you can follow very easily. I still struggle with the plot of this movie.
Basically, it's, Janet and Brad's car breakdown outside of Castle Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
They go in and meet Frankenfurter and his weird group of people. And Frankenfurter's trying to build an artificial man. And Meatloaf shows up randomly, and it's very strange.
This was one of Meatloaf's actually earliest projects.
Yes, and we'll get to that in a moment, but yeah. So, Chris, I don't think the story of this movie really matters that much. What do you think?
I think in the tradition of the B movie sci-fi feel that they're going for, absolutely. Because go back to all the classic B movies out there, The Blob, and I'm going to put King Kong in here, even though I love King Kong, but still a B movie style. How we got there is irrelevant. The point is that it's there. And I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is like that as well. How we got there is irrelevant. The fact is that we're there.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And it definitely is an absurd plot that's hard to follow. But in the end, it's really not the center of this film. Well, let's jump next to the cast. So, I do have a personal connection to the cast. 2 months ago, I met Barry Bostwick, who played Brad in this film. Very young, handsome Barry Bostwick, and a very young Susan Sarandon.
Yep.
In some of their earliest screen roles. So, Brad and Janet are arguably the main characters. They don't necessarily do a lot. This movie is really a grounds for Tim Curry to go wild. But Brad and Janet are at least arguably the main characters. So, Chris, thoughts on just them overall?
Yeah. It's young Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick. Again, this was early in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
They were unknown. I didn't know Susan Sarandon could sing until I saw this, which was really cool.
True.
And I was more familiar with Barry Bostwick from Spin City. If anybody remembers that TV series with Michael,
Yes, Spin City.
with Michael J.
Yes.
Fox. So I was familiar with his comedy, but this wasn't something I was familiar with. And they played the doughy-eyed dolts actually very well. These aren't smart kids, even though allegedly they went to college or high school together. I don't know which way that really turned out, but anyway, I think they're perfectly fine. They look good, which is important in these B movies. Your leads have to be these good-looking individuals. Go back to any B movie where you've got the love interest or the hero guy, quote, quote. They're really good-looking, and they manage that here.
Which is funny because they're basically in their underwear in most of the movie.
That's also true.
So, yeah, I mean, in keeping with the B movies, yeah, you gotta have your, starry-eyed youths, and is it just me? And Susan Sarandon in this film remind you of Betty Davis when she was really, really young.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And the big eyes, the big bright doe eyes, and all that.
Oh, yes.
That's what I kept thinking. God, she looks like Betty Davis in some of these scenes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kayleigh, your thoughts on Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick?
So for me, the way I kind of see it, because I'm not a big watcher of the B movies. I know that that's like what Richard O'Brien was definitely channeling and what he was, inspired by. But what I always equated it to as a kid, and even like older I got, because I was a really big Addams Family and Munsters fan and watched a lot of those reruns when I was a kid, is like they are kind of like Cousin Marilyn is in the Munsters, where it's like they're like the normal people,
Good
so you
point.
can have a contrast between all the weirdos that's in
That's a
these
very
movies.
good point.
And like it's all about their reaction to this different world. And at that time period in 75, it was definitely a lot of things were happening culturally, but also subculturally. And I think it was they were supposed to kind of act as the bridge, in a way, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's an excellent observation. I had not thought of that. You-
But they're a
And
great cast.
you're right about the comparison to Marilyn Monster. The normal person in an abnormal world. And culturally, I think a lot of Americans were feeling that way in the 70s. Um, so there's an interesting thing they do in this film to present us with a framing device, which is the story being told by a professor, a criminologist to be specific, played by an English actor named Charles Gray. Um, and I think he's perfect in this role. He's got that right sort of stentorian, professorly voice. And I do like his sort of side commentary going on, particularly the way they use it in the Time Warp. First you jump to the left, and then he gives you all the instructions on how to dance the Time Warp.
Yep.
I think it's fun to have him as a narrator. What do you think, Chris?
I am biased because I am, along with Mike Kalinowski, one of the biggest James Bond fans out there.
Oh, yes.
And when I saw this man, I went,
Yes.
Blofeld!
No, it's like Blofeld and Diamonds Are Forever. That's right.
Huge Bond fan
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. So, he's actually in You Only Live Twice and Diamonds Are Forever. But all that aside, I really like him. He's not in it a lot, and actually, I would argue, yes, it is the framing device, but you take it away, you still have the same story. You really do. He's there to move everything along as the storyteller. Um, but the highlight for him is definitely seeing him hop up on his desk and do the time warp on his desk. That is fun. I love seeing Charles Gray get a little crazy. Um, and it's fun, and it's fun. That one of the little things that I do like. I like Charles Gray in this.
Haley, your thoughts on him as our narrator?
I think it's a very interesting decision to make, because I feel like I said, you don't know when in the future he's so disconnected from the story, but clearly he's familiar with the story. So it's almost like with him being a criminologist, it's like, okay, well, did he somehow stumble across this castle where these weird outcast aliens are from, and he's trying to dissect their purpose and while they were there, and then in turn he became kind of like a fan, because he, like I said, to Chris's point, that part where he basically completely dissects the dance, and then but then he like decides to kind of join in the dance, is very different, because he kind of like breaks the wall of what a narrator is supposed to be in that little like part. And it's really cool, because time warp is a very interesting thing. Anyway, we'll get into the music, but I think that part of it really does, I don't know, just it kind of endears you to him. And he's a part of the cast without being a part of the cast, if that makes any sense. And I really enjoy that.
He is the removed narrator, but during the time warp, he actually is involved with what's
Mm-hmm.
going on.
Right. Kind of a fourth wall breaking thing. But I think he also represents us, because in that dance, especially, He's talking to us. And there are lots of songs out there that are almost like a call and response. They tell you what to do. The what is it? The
Famous song
electric
Jump.
slide.
Yeah.
What is it?
Mhm.
The cha-cha. I
The
never
cha-cha
say.
slide, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the cha-cha
the
slide.
famous song Jump.
Yeah,
Um,
they tell you what to do and he's instructing you. So, and I would argue if nobody has ever seen this movie outside of it, I guarantee you they've heard Time Warp somewhere.
Oh, 100%.
Time Warp, and they probably know
It's a Halloween classic.
absolutely is.
the song Shout.
Besides Tim Curry, that song and that character within the movie is probably the most iconic piece of this entire production.
I misspoke earlier. Jump is not the song I was thinking. I was thinking of the song Shout,
Shout. Yeah.
where it's kind of tells you what to do in the song.
Yeah. But I think you can also, with him too, I think another way I've always kind of looked at it as well is if you think about him being, like I said, the removed narrator, except for that part, because clearly he had to take place that part because he loved the song so much and he loved the dance so much he just couldn't like stop himself from joining in. But to me, it's almost like the movie is his imagining what actually took
So
place.
you want my
Mm.
head canon on this?
I'd
Let's
love to
hear
hear
it.
that, Kenneth.
He's actually a younger undercover cop as one of the partygoers.
Oh, that's a cool
Mm.
idea.
I know this is stupid, but I'm like, how else would he know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. The one guy we do have to mention who shows up in one scene, and then spoiler alert, is killed, is Meatloaf, leading to one of the greatest dinner scenes in movie history. Um,
That reveal when he takes off the table and oh man, that you want to talk about the horror element of these
yes,
B movies. That was the horror element.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was pretty disgusting. You get Meatloaf showing up on a motorcycle, gets his one song, "Bless My Soul," and then Frankenfurter kills him.
Yep.
That's all it is, short and sweet.
Yep. Well,
And certainly it's become an iconic part of the movie.
it's such a really Meatloaf is such an important key into this. Eddie is an important key into
Hmm.
this because in terms of the whatever the story is left, a lot of the pre-motivation deals with Eddie. Eddie was a misspent youth, and as told by Dr. Scott, he actually ends up in a relationship with Frankenfurter.
Mm-hmm.
But Eddie starts to notice, I believe it's Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
He notices Columbia. Columbia falls in love with him. But there's this distant love triangle that exists. Well, Eddie, because of his turmoil, because he's going to Columbia, Frankenfurter decides, I'm going to make a man for myself and decides to use the brain of Eddie. And so,
To make the title character Rocky Horror.
yes, to create that horror element. So he's actually really important to the quote, quote, backstory of this story, even though he's only in the one scene and the appearance of his body during the dinner scene.
It's a great song though, "Bless My Soul." That's a
Oh,
good song.
Meatloaf does a good version of this, but if you are a fan and ever want to hear a little more, check out the Glee did an album of all of the Rocky Horror pieces, and John Stamos
Famous.
does. It's
Of all
Bless My Soul,
people,
but I call it Hot Patootie. I will
Yeah.
always call it Hot Patootie.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Stamos does a version of this that's
Mm-hmm.
really good. He's
Yes.
really good at it.
I swear I would never watch anything Glee related, but maybe you've convinced me.
Oh, definitely
once.
watch the Glee episode for Rocky Horror. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of their let's talk about just the household servants, I guess.
Yeah.
Call them, Riff Raff,
Mm-hmm.
Magenta, Columbia, and they're kind of sort of the. I don't think they get as much credit as they deserve. I mean, certainly Richard O'Brien is definitely recognized for his role as Riff Raff.
Yeah.
And then you have this weird love triangle, yeah, with is it Columbia?
Yep.
Mhm.
You know, Magenta's Riff Raff's sister. There's some plotting going on, you know, as much as there is a plot.
There is some weird stuff between those two siblings.
Yes.
Yes.
So thoughts on them, just overall, Chris?
Um, they're a lot of fun. It comes down to fun. That's what this is about. You don't like it, you got to admit you had a little bit of fun doing it. And they kind of help push and support that. In fact, they end up becoming the disgruntled people later on, all three of them at different times in different ways. They become the disgruntled people against Frankenfurter. Um, and I really enjoy this. I also love that this is Richard O'Brien's baby.
Mhm.
He wrote this. He featured in it as Riff Raff in the original 1973 production, and then in the 1975 Broadway production, and then of course the movie. He's really fun in this, and I didn't know how many things that I actually loved that had that Richard O'Brien influence to it. I had no idea of this. Um, just quick samples. He's in Dark City as
Mhm.
Mr. Hand, which I love Dark
That's
City.
right.
He's
That's
in
right.
Spice World. I know it's a terrible movie,
Oh,
but I'll never forget it. He's in Spice World.
You know, my favorite movie,
Flash Gordon.
no, Ever After.
I
Oh.
was gonna say not Flash Gordon. No,
And he's also in Dungeons and Dragons. That was probably the bigger
no.
one. And
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
and here's the kicker. I absolutely love this. In Phineas and Ferb, he is the voice of Mr. Fletcher, of Phineas's dad.
Oh, he is. That's
He
right.
is. He's the
That's right.
voice
He
of
is.
Phineas's dad. I adore that.
I should have recognized it. Now I hear it in my head.
Well, he
Yeah.
plays the creep in Ever After, and that's what I'll always
Oh,
remember him
that's
for. Besides
right.
Breath.
That's right, Monsieur Le Pew,
Yep.
Yes. As well as a long history
who
on
gets his butt handed to him. So,
as
Yes.
as well as having a long history in theater as well,
oh yes,
which I really appreciate. He has played Fagin. He has, of course, Rocky Horror. He was the child catcher in the London version of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which
Love
I
it.
think really fits.
Yes.
Little Shop of Horrors, he's played Mushnik. I could go on and on and on. This guy is a consummate performer. He was an apostle in Jesus Christ Superstar, again on the West
that's
End.
right.
So
That's right.
I can go on and on and on about this guy. I love Richard O'Brien. And it's just when I look at him, I don't see Richard O'Brien. I see Riff Raff.
Yes.
The makeup work, and we'll talk about that. The makeup work for him is so good.
And you made the connection with Phineas and Ferb. I can't unhear it.
Now I can't. No, it's like, but I love it. I love that that's him. And I remember one time he made a Rocky Horror reference, and how they got away with it with Disney, I don't know, but I just giggled so profusely.
You know, Phineas and Ferb didn't do weird.
I know we're talking about the actor himself, but like just honestly, the chameleon that he is. I mean, he sings my favorite song in the movie. My favorite song in the movie is Science Fiction Double Feature,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, I
and
did
his
not.
voice sounds so different in that than it does in like the other songs because he's not playing riff raff; he's just singing.
So I thought that was Patricia Quinn because it's her lips in the
Hmm.
opening. So
But his
I thought it
voice.
was her. It's his voice.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't.
Singing. Okay.
It's very feminine. He does a good job. And I'm sure even in the 70s, there's a little bit of tinkering. I'm
Hmm.
sure there's some tinkering.
But it's still
But
great. The fact that
it's
he was able
great.
to do something totally different in the same movie.
Yes. And then of course we have to come to the big hitter here.
Yes.
Hmm.
In one of his first film roles, Tim Curry as Dr. Frankenfurter steals the movie.
Yep.
Kayleigh, your thoughts on his performance and the character?
I mean, this movie doesn't have cult status, and we're not talking about it 50 years later without Tim Curry, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just bottom line. I mean, you can't take your eyes off of him. And this film is what I think, it's like you said, it's one of his early roles, and it's what gave us the Tim Curry that we know. And
And it's hard to
he's
believe this is 10
magnetic.
years. This is 10 years before Clue.
Yes.
Yes.
He's magnetic. You watch
And
everything
and
he's in.
Legend. He plays
Mhm.
Darkness in Legend. Let's not forget that.
But the character is so irreverent and charming in a way, and he's charismatic, and you just can't but he's insane. I mean, he's just all over the place, but you love him for it. And he's just, he represents this thing in a way that is so, like, everyone's drawn to him even if they don't want to be drawn to him. And what's crazy is, whenever you got when you have the other, I guess, misfits or aliens that turn on him at the end because clearly they must think he went too far with everything, you still you still feel for him at the end. You still feel for him too, in a way. If it wasn't for him, you don't feel for him in that role. Like, you don't feel for that character because he's a little, like I said, he's a little out of it. He's way out there.
Chris, your thoughts on the great Tim Curry in this role?
I feel like we could do an entire 3-hour retrospective on the career of Tim Curry.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And there are so many things that Tim Curry has done that I love. Some of my most favorite villains of all time are done by Tim Curry, both in voice and in stage and in film and in TV. This is a tour de force actor. This film does not have the notoriety or any future without Tim Curry.
Mhm.
None of it. He has charm, he has swagger, you know, and this will go into the themes of the film. But I think for some people, it even makes them question their own sexuality and sexual identity, which is part of what Frankenfurter does.
Mhm.
That is a power that he has. And that is going to the charm of Tim Curry. You don't know where he lies. You have no idea. And it's just an amazing performance. You know he's the villain, but you love him so much. You
Tim
know,
Curry has done that multiple times in his career. The first time I ever heard anything from him was in Ferngully as
yes.
the villain.
By the way,
And he's essentially doing a Rocky Horror song in that movie.
so this is the catch. I grew up watching Ferngully over and over and over. We had it recorded on tape.
What was the name
When
of his character?
Hexus.
Mhm.
So
Nexus.
when
That's
you
right.
listen to, it's called Toxic Love is his song. You listen to it. It's very clean. It's about loving pollution and poison and wanting revenge. And okay, that's great. Listen to it on the soundtrack. All of a sudden, it becomes a very adult song
Mhm.
that almost sounds like it came from Frankenfurter. I'm not joking.
Mhm.
It is night and
Inappropriate
day.
for children's entertainment.
Oh, not appropriate for children's entertainment in any way. I love this song, but I realized it when I downloaded that song. I was like, this is very different than what I remember. It's just that's the way it is.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. But all that aside, it's the charm. This guy can sing. I think we're gonna move on from him, but I also think of him in the Muppet Treasure Island as Long John
Yes,
Silver.
as Long John Silver.
And the great song he has in there at just the moment of breaking the fourth wall, which he does with Frankenfurter, where he goes, upstage, lads, this is my only number. I
Yes.
love that. It's just that charm that he has. Yes,
I
Kayleigh.
will I will say this too, because I say that this is a movie that doesn't get a lot of of praise was it's not a great movie because it was a direct to I think VHS kind of a thing, but he plays the villain in the Beauty and the Beast Christmas movie.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, he
He's the
does.
organ, and it's
Oh, he's
so
so good
good.
in that. And that is
Even though that movie kind of stinks, he's really good
it's
in it.
He's
not
the best part of
terrible,
it.
but it's
He's
not
the best
good.
part of it, though.
He is. Did you know that he was the first computer generated character from Disney? That whole thing is computer generated.
Mm-hmm. You could tell it too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
we can,
talk about a guy with one of the most iconic voices in the
Mm-hmm.
industry.
it's Tim Curry.
And
100%.
because I host a Star Wars podcast, he took over the role of Palpatine on the Clone Wars after Ian Abercrombie passed away.
Mm.
Yep.
Which is an interesting choice, but if anyone can voice Palpatine, it's Tim Curry.
The last thing I want to point out about for him, it just is his sense of villainy.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
This man has played the devil. He has been the devil, but he's done it more than once. So, Brennan, I'm curious if you had these growing up. Do you remember put out by Hanna-Barbera, The Greatest Adventure Stories from the Bible? It was
Mm-hmm.
a series of biblical stories put
Mm-hmm.
out on
I do
VHS.
remember those, yes.
And my grandparents bought us the whole set.
Mm-hmm.
He is not only the voice of the serpent that tempts Eve, but he
Ooh.
is also the voice of Judas Iscariot.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like, and I remember those as a kid so much. Like this, he hardly ever plays a good guy. He is
Mm-hmm.
always a bad guy. And
Mm-hmm.
even today, and and God be with him. I hope he lives for a long time, but he had some serious stroke problems.
Stroke 12 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and so he is in a chair, but he still tours. He still talks to fans. He is still all in his faculties, which I love. But this man is the villain's villain. And if we have ever talked about an actor that is just villainous, it's Tim Curry.
We have talked about him before on the show.
For Red
Mm-hmm.
October.
That's Dr. Petrov in Red October.
Oh my gosh! And Cardinal Richelieu in Three Musketeers.
Yes, and he was
You can
Cardinal
never forget.
Richelieu, that's
You
right.
can never forget Cardinal Richelieu. He had so many great one-liners in that movie.
And he gets punched out really good at the end, and we like that.
Yes.
You know that he is also a Tony nominated actor.
That doesn't surprise me.
He was nominated for Best Actor in, of all things, in 1981, Amadeus.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But
right. He
would,
played Amadeus.
but he would come back and get nominated again in 2005, playing King Arthur in Monty Python's Spamalot.
That's right. He was the original Arthur in Spamalot. That's right.
I mean, this guy has played Captain Hook, a very
Yes.
good Captain Hook, but nobody but me remembers.
Oh yes, from Peter Pan and the
Peter Pan
Pirates.
and the
Right?
Pilot. See, you and I are the same age, so I remember this.
Oh, Kayleigh's our age, aren't you, Kayleigh?
Kayleigh, do you remember Peter Pan and the Pirates?
Yeah, I'm 39. I remember that.
All right.
She's
So
our age.
it was a very different tale, not based on the Disney stuff, but he was Captain Hook.
Mhm.
I love that. Maybe one of these days we talk about him.
Wasn't he the villainous dragon in the Mighty Ducks animated series?
He was Drogon.
A series that no one remembers except us.
I mean, the man was always getting a paycheck. Let's put it that way.
No, I mean the thing is, his voice was in so many things that we grew up with. He was in the Rugrats movie, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. I remember that. Barbie and the Nutcracker, straight to DVD, but I
Yes!
loved it. I
Like
loved
another
it.
villain. Yes.
It's quite good, actually.
Valiant. He plays in the awful movie, but he shines. Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. He's the other Garfield. He's Prince. And I love that.
Nice.
So many things that this man has done that are just charming and lovely, and it's going to be one of those actors that when he passes, I think the world will cry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
But I mean, he's doing as he's doing right now. Yeah.
But just, I mean,
there
like,
was just an interview with him on TCM. I mean, he's still Tim Curry.
But just
Did
the
you know
way
what?
his
Did,
way his voice is in this movie is just so good too. Like his affectations, the way he says things is just so. The way he says the name Rocky is like,
okay.
yes, I love
Okay.
it. I love it.
We have to move on, but I do have to say too that he can't play every villain. So here's a funny true story about him. Before Mark Hamill was cast, Tim Curry was to be the voice of the Joker on Batman the Animated Series, and they even recorded dialogue with him. But they were like, something's not working. Something's not right. And they rejected Tim Curry. I still can't believe that story. There is no known of this, of audio of this, which I would love to hear. But yeah, for the first few episodes, they were tried to record a bunch of things, and it didn't work, and so they cast Mark Hamill instead, and history was made. But the idea that the villain man's villain wasn't good enough for the Joker, I thought there was nothing he couldn't do.
Let's not forget his role in Annie.
He's history.
Yes. So yeah, that's our cast. Pretty interesting.
This is the Tim Curry podcast.
Yeah.
So let's go now. Now thematically, not necessarily a deep movie. The last line of the movie is rather bleak, if you think about it. And it's a very nihilistic film, you could say.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that even though it deals with it in a comical way, nobody really discussed the idea of transgenderism at this time.
He still refers to himself as a transvestite, which today I believe is not a politically correct term.
Mm-mm. But it does nonetheless bring that idea into the light when no one else is really talking about it. And though it is comical in a way, there is a certain modern sensibility in terms of gender going on here. And Kayleigh, your thoughts on that idea overall?
Well, this is one where it gets a little personal for me. Like, I'm married to somebody who's trans and non-binary, so this movie as an adult has taken on a different meaning for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
thematically. And then just the fact that the idea of, I always go back to the end, and like I really do, I get emotional at the end when Frankenfurter dies, and you have the whole like "don't dream it, be it" and all these different kind of like um kind of like mottos that can kind of come out of this idea of like whether or not you agree with how Frankenfurter lived his life. And yes, he had like a temper, and yes, he let things get the better of him, and he was driven by his sexual desires and all these different things that caused him to, do the things he did. He was unapologetically himself, and it does kind of like ring true that like that idea of like being for misfits and for outcasts, that idea of the world may not accept you but still just be yourself, it really just rings true to me as the main theme of this film.
Yeah, I think I agree. It definitely is what's going on here. And the idea that some of society's constraints, the rules that we created in society, gender identity and things like that, are rules that I think in the end do more harm than good. And I think that the idea of this film, even though, like I said, it's done in a very silly way, but definitely considering this is 1975, these are issues nobody talked about. And to have a movie, even in a funny way, address it, a movie that has a certain gender fluidity to it, is very unique and very topical by today's standards. Your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, that is to me what I think is at the heart of this. And maybe it wasn't intended at the time. I think there was definitely some of that there. Because Richard O'Brien is a very big advocate today of the importance of this film and why it persists today, and that it's needed for those who do not feel a connection one way or another. That this allows you to be who you are, what you are, and that's okay.
And does it in a fun way with great music
Yeah,
that really make you feel a sense of celebration.
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Um, yeah, I enjoy this. And what I really love is I have seen men and women both of different colors, different races, different gender associations, different is the word, perform the role of Frankenfurter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't,
It's an open role that anyone can play, really.
right,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. As long as you have an open mind and a willingness to, toe the line, not toe the line, to flirt with the line, heavily flirt with the line.
Mm-hmm.
Or in the case of like Laverne Cox, who is actually transgender, she played this role and stuff.
Yes, she played it in the not as great Let's Do the Time Warp Again, which was actually 9 years ago this last month, that was on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Um
But you're right, this is a role that can be played by
but
anyone.
yeah, it works and the themes are important. I think that is why this film currently holds a record as the most continuously run film in release. So
Mm-hmm.
for 50 years, no joke, since its release, it has been actively in a limited release, been released every year throughout the year. As a matter of fact, here's the kicker. So this was owned by 20th Century Fox. Now, 20th Century Fox had a deal for a long time that if theaters wanted to show a film that was in their vaults, they would let them do it for free. No fees, no nothing, just cool. Let's do that. Well, when Disney bought 20th Century Fox, that standing deal with 20th Century Fox stopped because Disney Vault, as you know, is a very sacred thing to the Disney company, except for one film. Any guesses which film that was?
Gee, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder.
So the Rocky Horror Picture Show is still lent out, even though technically it's in Disney's vaults. They still let it out regularly because it's tradition. It is what it is. Um, and I'm glad that they do it. I don't like the film. I don't go to these midnight screenings or these days. I am not that kind of person. That is not for me. But I understand why it's important to so many people, why it speaks to them. It allows them to let their freak flag fly, and that's okay. Let them be who they are and not be judged.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, now we're going to talk about the big one. The reason people watch this movie. The music. The songs. I mean, this is really what I think, other than Dr. Frankenfurter as a character, the thing that brings people back again and again is the great soundtrack.
Yeah.
As we mentioned a few, the Time Warp, of course, being the most famous. Damn it, Janet, Put the Tootie, or Bless My Soul, depending on science fiction double feature, and a few others. Mm. So, Haley, your thoughts overall on the soundtrack, and what's your favorite song here?
Well, I think I told you science fiction double feature is my favorite. I do like. I mean, I like the like Time Warp is great. Like Time Warp's a classic. I understand why it is what it is, and it's understandable as to why that song is the song that is known outside of the film. But I think it's a great. I mean, overall, as far as like an actual musical, it it really does evoke a time period. Like it does, like the songs make you think of, kind of gives you that 1950s vibe in a lot of ways. A lot of the songs do. And so, you know, if you think about it, the 70s being the time period that the film was made and released, kind of going back to those, like you said, you all talked about the movies. It goes back to those old, you know, like those B horror movies, but the time period, the music is definitely reminiscent of that. And so it does take you to that place. And then like emotionally too, like, I mean, the fanfare and the "Don't Dream It Be It" sequence at the end is another iconic one for me. I
Hmm.
love that so much. And it does, again, bring a little bit of heart and a little bit of kind of drama to it. A little, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of highs and lows, and that's what you want in a musical. You want a musical to take you on a journey. You don't want all the songs to sound the same. And I think that it does a really good job of mixing it up and taking you for a ride.
Absolutely. Chris, your thoughts overall, and what's your favorite song here?
Um, I think this is popular today because people can let a repressed side of themselves out. People who see this can go here. And again, I said it before, they're not judged. You're just part of a group and a community, and everyone's accepting and everyone's having fun. And that's what's great. For me, the song that I find myself really getting into is Hapatootie, Bless My Soul. Love that. However, critically, I think the best song in here actually is Going Home.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one too. Yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful. Could be performed outside of context without question by a performer, an auditioner, something like that. And it's so good. It slows the movie down. Don't get me wrong, it does. But outside of it with what it is, it's a beautiful song. It's a great song. And there's a tenderness that Tim Curry provides to it that just you're like, wow, I hate you, but I'm so sorry.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, there are catchy songs after catchy songs here. And some that go in very interesting directions, shall we say. And you're right. You know, I didn't know Susan Sarandon could sing until I saw this. I certainly the songs that I like. I mean, Time Warp obviously is great, but the you know, over at the Frankenstein place, in the Velvet Darkness, you know, all that's a good song. And by the way, talk show host Craig Ferguson, they performed the Over at the Frankenstein place as the cold open on a Halloween episode of his talk show.
I forgot about that.
Oh wow.
And now, oddly enough, on stage, he has played Brad.
I did not know that.
And the guy who played Frankenfurter in that production he was in was none other than Anthony Head, who you might know as Giles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Who is actually a really good singer, on my add. For those of you kids, he plays the jerk ex-husband in
And Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
By the way, both of those characters are named Rupert. I find that very interesting. Yes, so the music here, particularly the Time Warp, has become an all-time classic. And the music in this movie is a lot of fun and catchy and memorable, and it's unique because this movie came out when disco was a big deal.
Mm.
And this is not a disco score or soundtrack. And I kind of like that. It gives that a unique flavor that definitely does feel more in keeping with kind of that era, the 50s B movie aesthetic that they're going through. But overall, an incredible soundtrack. Richard O'Brien did a great job. As the kids would say, it's banger after banger.
Mm-hmm. Wild and Untamed Things, another one. I love that one too. Wild and Untamed Things, great. They're all great.
Yes, they really are. Um, and that's really probably the biggest reason people come back to this thing. The final thing is the spectacle. And this is not really a. It's not a film designed to be a good looking film per se. It's not going for a high art look. It's going for somewhat of a very grungy, um, low budget mystery science theater like style. Arguably, we wouldn't get mystery science theater at 3000 without this movie. Because it's going for that same level of deliberate cheesiness. Chris, your thoughts on the look of the film?
It's schlocky, it's B movie, it's fun, and yet it's dirty, but not in a bad or over sexualized way. It literally looks
Well,
everywhere you
except
go.
for the one song.
Well, that's true. The orgy song.
Yes.
I will never look at swimming pools the same way. Anyway, um, it's just it's bad, but that's what they're going for. It's not meant to be clean or overly pretty. This is what they're going for. I get it. I understand it. I don't like it, but I get it. I know why it's there. So I'm not going to complain about it, but personally, it's not to my overall aesthetic, but that's just me.
Yeah, Kayleigh, your thoughts on just the look and the presentation here?
it's it's I mean the thing is like to Chris's point, it's definitely it there was an intention behind why they made the film look the way they did. But to like for me, I will say this about the spectacle as far as the way it looks, the sets are very iconic. I mean, Frankenfurter's laboratory is a very iconic set to me.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be that way because he's so far out there and the character is so far out there. And so for that particular space to be the way it is, because it looks so unlike anything you think to see in a spooky looking European style castle. And and then also the swimming pool. I mean, like there's so many like really interesting like decisions that they made. And to me but that's like I said, it was intentional. Like it just, they I think it's supposed to like make you scratch your head because it looks kind of crazy. And I don't know, it goes back to this idea of like them being like this kind of like race of aliens in a way. And like it's almost like their perception of what they thought, I guess, Earth would be like. I don't know, it's very interesting like when you think about it that way. Like it just, but I mean, to me, I think about how I mean, I always go back to that, how iconic Frankenfurter's laboratory looks like. That's to me is like the the most interesting set. Like to have the fact that it has this ramp and the fact that it's like in pink tile. It's very it's just so different and so outside of everything else in the movie. That's the one I always think about, is that particular image when I think about this movie.
Real quick, the lab outfit for Frankenfurter. Do you think that inspired Barbara Bush's outfit during the Bush administration?
Oh, no.
Tell me every time I look at that when they're coming up and we see the poofy hair, the pearls, and the smock that looks just like a dress,
My
it looks
goodness.
like he's Barbara Bush.
Yeah, okay, I hadn't thought of that.
Oh,
Every
no,
time, listen,
that's different.
it's not a call out or anything. I know all the call outs from doing the live show, but every time I look at him and go, "What's Barbara Bush doing here?" It's not a call out, but I want to make it one.
That's funny.
It's a very riff tracks way of approaching it.
Yeah.
But think even like the Medusa of it all, like them turning into like the Medusa machine and them turning into statues, and it's just so crazy and over the top, and the dumbbells that are wrapped in cellophane to look like candy, and it's so crazy. Like everything, it's like someone had a field day with the set design of this, and I love it.
I think that what makes it is that there is no other movie that really looks like this.
No,
You know what you're watching when you see it. And that's really neat because oftentimes we get movies where visually and design you really can't tell them apart. Once in a while you'll get one with such a unique signature of the look of the film that you know exactly what you're watching. And this is one of them. All right. With that all being said, Chris, I turn the con back over to you.
Thank you so much. All right. Before we say goodbye to Kayleigh, I'm gonna get through kind of what this month of November is gonna look like
Oh boy.
because it's gonna be interesting. So next week, Brennan and I are finally, again, we got delayed by about a week. We are going to do Mud's Women, which the randomizer spun for us.
Speaking of strange and unusual,
Yes, we are going to do Mud's Women. The week after that, we're going to do something new. It is not randomized, and we're going to go in order, but it is brand new. And I really, really, really want to add it in because it is canon and it has a really good cast. And I'm really excited to share it with you. We are going to take a look week by week, or when we go around. It'll take us a while, but we're going to take a look eventually at all 9 episodes of the new audio drama series, Star Trek On. So we will be sharing our first audio drama, but it was being produced. It is officially canon. It stars Naveen Andrews from Lost as the titular Khan, with guest appearances from our good friends George Takei and Tim Russ, who just got finished filming his bit for Spaceballs 2.
yes.
Cannot wait for that. So that will be coming. The week after that, we will be going into TNG. And then the week after that, we're going to finish the year out. We have 2 more films, one this month, one next month. But we're going to finish it out with something a little more family friendly. It is currently this year the 30th anniversary of a little film that created an empire. We are going to be taking a look at the end of this month, 1995's Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
And next month, just as a little sneak peek, we're going to be doing another film that is having an anniversary this year. A little film about a little robot that could. It's going to be WALL-E.
Indeed.
So those will be fun ways to kind of go through the holiday season, a little family Pixar moment. It'll be great.
I don't think WALL-E's celebrating an anniversary because it came out in 2008.
Which one?
WALL-E.
It's an anniversary of some kind.
Oh, okay, man.
Every year is an
Does
anniversary.
17 years count? Okay.
Absolutely. Anyway,
WALL-E is a classic.
I think the people
nonetheless,
17 years old this year would argue with you, Brendan, that that's very important.
I know.
Okay, that's true.
So we'll be taking a look at those. And then a very special sneak peek. Brandon and I have decided that for movie night in the next year, because it's coming fast, Brendan and I are going to change it up a little bit. We have decided to celebrate next year as the year of the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have taken 12 actors who have played Starfleet captains, big and small, and we have picked one movie from each of them that we are going to review every month. Some serious, some bad, some mixed. There's a lot of differences here, but all of them feature a Starfleet captain that we love and adore. And we'll go month to month. I won't tell you what captains, but if you do the math, I'm sure you'll know we'll be coming across a few favorites in there. But yes, we are going to do the year of the captain. How does that sound, Kayleigh?
That sounds fun. Hope to be invited back at some point.
There are 12 movies. It's a good
Trust
chance
me.
you'll like one
I
of
mean,
them.
at some point
Trust
when I
me.
hit 5, I get a jacket, right? It's gonna be like Chucky, like a Chucky
Yes.
jacket. I mean, come on
We
now.
need jackets. We need
Wait,
jackets.
is Scott Mantz on the Five Timers Club yet?
Ooh, I think he is.
By the way, we're due to have Scott back at some point. We need to.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But yes, so a lot of great things are to come. And a lot of things that Brennan and I are still working on scheduling wise. We do want to do a Babylon 5 review. It's coming, guys. If you've listened and heard, I have talked about this. It's going to happen. It's just scheduling. We are busy, busy people. But that is on our radar as well. And if Kayleigh has her way, we'll probably do a Stargate one too.
I still need to do the Orville with you guys.
Oh, there's Orville. That's right. I forgot.
I need to catch up on that.
See, we're just going to become full-time podcasters at this point. This is just the way it is. I'm quitting teaching. Forget middle schoolers. I have the internet. Oh, Kayleigh, it was great to have you. You want to plug your museum?
Yeah, I'm over here in South Carolina. I'm in the Orangeburg County Fine Arts Center.
Absolutely. I'm going to call it the Star Trek Center from now on.
There you go.
I don't know why. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming, Kayleigh. We do love having you on. And definitely next year, when we go off, I'll share with you what the movies are we're planning.
Awesome.
But, we'll schedule that out. Brennan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky, brennan@bluesky.social. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Page Turners They Will Not.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Ingle1984. But as always, we end every episode. Kapla! And live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.